Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. My name is Jeremy Gloff. I'm your host. Tonight, I'm here with my Madonna friends to talk about her album, Breathless, track by track. If you're a fan of this podcast, consider donating $1 or $2 to my Patreon. So when it's sunny outside, I'll feel accountable like I have to keep doing this. Otherwise, I'll get bored. But anyway, let's go around the panel and everyone introduce themselves. David.
Hi, my name is Chewbacca. May the fourth be with you. Hi, my name is David, lifelong Madonna stan, and I'm from Miami.
Cool. Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric. I live in the city of New Orleans, and I'm a huge Madonna fan and a huge collector.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, he is.
I still want you to find those 2 pins I need. All right, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey from Los Angeles. That's it.
And for the first time on our panel, but I hope not the last, because we're getting into the good albums now. Well, they're all good, but I really like the 90s. Jocelyn.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn from Tampa, Florida. And, if it makes you feel good, then I say do it. I don't know what you're waiting for.
All right. Jocelyn and I have a lot of Madonna stories to share, but they'll come in later, because we lived through it together. So,
yeah, I'm obsessed.
And it was this album came out in 1990, correct?
90.
1990. Breathless was the album where my music collecting went from record to CD. So it took me a little while to buy this. I didn't buy it right when it came out. I kind of thought of it as a throwaway a little bit. I'm like, I'll get it later. I knew Vogue, of course. But here's the album, Breathless, music from and inspired by the film Dick Tracy. And then, of course, being a little bit of a collector, I have the piano book.
Yeah, good times.
I need that.
Then I have the Dick Tracy piano book because it has different pictures of Madonna, and I needed them both. So I was in study hall with my cousin Josh, and he said, "Did you hear about this new Madonna song, Vogue?" And I said, "There's no Madonna song, Vogue, because Keep It Together had just come out not too long ago." And he's talking about some Madonna song I never heard of. And then all of a sudden, there's a song, Vogue, on MTV with the album that says Breathless, music from and inspired by the film Dick Tracy. Because that was before the internet, so things just came out of nowhere. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I didn't know anything about Vogue coming. I knew nothing about this Breathless album. And it really took me by surprise. So, then Hanky Panky came out as a second single, so I knew that. And then eventually I got a CD player, and then this was the first Madonna album I ever bought on CD. So I'll get into how I felt about the album once we get into the songs, but let's go around the circle. Do you all remember your introduction into the Breathless era?
I didn't research it, but it came out on the same day as something else. And I remember I took a road trip to Vegas, and I listened to it I had to record onto it. I didn't have a Discman at that time. I only had Walkman, so I got the CD, and then I had to record it onto tape really quick so I could listen to it in the car on the drive to Vegas. And I got it just in time. And it was and then I was listening to it being like, wow, this is crazy. Because it was I didn't really equate that it was going to be, standards and big band. And it really threw me for a loop, but I liked it. I liked it then, and I like it now.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else want to share this?
I still bought it on cassette. It would be the Immaculate collection before I bought my first Madonna CD, or stole my first Madonna CD, because I was a shoplifting whore. And
now you're just a whore, right?
Exactly. No, I have manners now. No, I saw the movie. I paid for the movie. I saw the movie and I loved it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy the soundtrack now because it's there. Listening it these last few days took me right back. I had my cute little Walkman, and every time I went to 7th grade, because it was around 7th grade for me, the walk to school was the best, just playing this back and forth.
What did something like that cost, like a CD player back in 1990?
Oh, I want to say, a CD player was probably $30, $40, and that was out of my range. If I was going to spend $30, $40 at that time, I was like, oh, I don't trust those CDs. let me get a cute Walkman. Because
And,
I still had a record player and I didn't have an issue. But of course, the cassette was like so good for me. I had my little Walkman and, you know, I had my batteries that obviously I stole to make sure I would never lose power. So it was like, oh, it's just the revolution of the way you consume music and you hear music have just changed in the last 30 years. And I'm so happy that I've gone through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, like, you know, you would do like a mix tape. And
off the radio, y'all. Pause.
And you would like take your CDs and you'd like DJ. You know, you'd take like sometimes like you would have like a 6 CD carousel, but other times you would just have like 1 CD at a time. So you would pull the CD out and tape that one song, and then like the next track. You know, it's so crazy with like what an iPod can do and how things have changed since this album. I mean, that's what we did during this album. You know.
Yeah, this was definitely the transitional album. That's another reason I feel like this podcast is important. Because I'm realizing this music will stand the test of time. Someone can always go back and listen to this music. For us to talk about how this music affected our life and pop culture, like 200 years from now, no one's going to know that this is the Madonna album when things went from record to CD and then there was the cassette. So I think we're leaving like a little extra testament to what it meant to us at the time. And I think that's awesome.
500 years from now, this is going to be the top rated show. They're going to be like, Phonogenics is amazing. And then like all the actors in it are dead. Finally be a legend.
I know my damn Patreon will finally get up to $100.
Right? Everyone's like trying to donate. They're like, I don't know.
All right. Does anyone else want to jump in with their thoughts on the album?
I do. So I don't know if you guys remember, but before this album actually was released, there was all this talk about Vogue, and MTV did a contest of submit your Vogue video, but no one, unless you were like in the underground, you know, ballroom scene in New York, knew what the hell Vogue was or meant, except that it was a magazine. And so MTV had this contest, submit your Vogue video, and you could win. I don't know what you could win, but my friends and I got together and we made a Vogue video and submitted it to MTV. And it was all our cheerleading dances, all moshed together. And so I was at 14. It was my freshman year of high school. And so I think there were like 10 of us girls, and we did our cheerleading dance, a couple of them, and the boys from school, they videotaped it and they edited it and put together these like really weird like graphics that were like cutting edge at the time. And so we submitted this videotape on VHS, and I still have a copy of it, and we did not win, but I would love to find out like who actually won and what was the prize, because I'm mad we didn't win.
Now, do you have a digital? Did you ever get that transferred to like DVD?
Yeah.
I do. I have it on a CD.
And here it is.
It's awesome. I watch it sometimes. It's hysterical. And just to know now actually like what voguing is, what we were doing was like legit not at all voguing, but we had the best time ever.
I definitely want to see that later if you're willing to share.
Oh yeah, I will.
All right, so the album came out. Like I said, it took a while for me to get it because I had to save up that $40 for a CD player. I feel like where I'm from, up in small town New York, CD players are actually closer to like $70.
That's what I'm saying. They were for
Maybe
me. I was
100.
like, you can't record on a CD. This is 1990. They didn't make recordable CDs. For me, at least, I was like, and it was expensive to have like a CD and a cassette player in like a radio or a boombox or some stuff like that. So it was like, no, I'm good with my little cassette player.
I had every Madonna CD on the day it came out for probably, I think maybe starting True Blue and then onwards.
You got True Blue on CD when it came out?
No. I mean, I'm just saying like getting it the day it came out. And then okay. I think my first CD was like a prayer.
Okay. I definitely
Mine
had the
was
vinyl
bedtime stories.
Oh, bedtime stories?
Yeah. I got it for Christmas. I don't know if you remember the store Blockbuster Music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember walking over there and to go get it.
I remember CDs were like $20 there because that's when they got.
Yeah, $20. That's how much it costs. Yeah, exactly. Now everything's like $1. Nobody wants to buy CDs.
They'll make a comeback for sure.
They're not even making CDs. Yo, what a mission.
It really sucks when you go to Target and you go to Walmart that used to have shelf and shelf and shelf of DVDs and CDs, and it's just going smaller and smaller and smaller, and then you just have this little section.
Well, it's depressing. The only place you can get CDs is Walmart, and because back in the day there was like many dedicated record stores that, you know, small to medium chains, and then a lot of department stores had stuff too. But now it's like,
I do like the Target editions that they come out with, though. I think that's pretty cool. How Target kind of has the corner on the market now, and they have like the bonus tracks. Madam X had a Target edition.
Yes, it did.
With those two bonus.
So did the that last Prince album, or that whatever originals had a Target edition.
Oh yeah, yep. All right. So I bought on Breathless. I went home with my CD, which this is the same CD I bought. I still have it, and I put it in the song "He's a Man" started, and I fucking fell in love with the album from like right when it started. I'm like, oh, this isn't a throwaway. Like I knew that right away. The first time I heard when she went to that song, I was like, oh shit. Because you know, I was just expecting it to be some bullshit. But she really put time into this album, and I love I'm gonna jump ahead, but I love every song on it. And I hate that they don't count this in her discography. This is a fucking album. This is definitely
it is pretty great.
Yeah,
it is pretty great.
It really is. Vocals, bitch. Vocals.
I know Christina tried to go back to basics, but nothing will ever touch I'm Breathless.
No, she did a pretty good job, Christina. You know, it's easy. It's easy. It's not easy to like, because this is jazz. This is, you know, standard music, but it worked and she made it a hit. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, bitch, who was playing Hanky Panky? Hanky Panky got played out on radio. Who would play a song like that? Honestly.
So, what do y'all think?
I think this would have been a good single, actually.
He's a Man?
Yeah, I think it would have probably done well, but I would have preferred that over Sooner or Later, personally, but it is what it is.
Now, Jeffrey did mention in our chat that the infamous Cher voice does make an appearance.
Always does.
He's a man with a gun in your hand.
Yes. I'm hearing it now too. Yes.
The Cher voice makes quite a few appearances on this record.
The Cher voice,
I have to say, and knowing what we know now, it makes appearances in my head as I'm listening to the record because it could go so many places. So I have to say, listening to this record today, I both enjoyed it and laughed a lot.
That was the worst part of Madonna taking vocal lessons for Evita is she lost her Cher voice, I feel like.
Yeah, she did. She lost her, like, but you know, when I was listening to Rescue Me, which we'll discuss, I heard a new tone come from her that we would hear down the road in the 2010s when she wasn't on the vocoder. When you get to hear her natural voice, I was like, oh, look, that's my bitch.
Does anyone else have any thoughts on He's a Man?
It's a good song. It's a real good song.
And
it's a great album opener.
Yes.
All right. So track 2 was actually from the movie Dick Tracy, written by, how do you say his name? Stephen. Oh, did I freeze? Okay. I froze for a second. Are you guys still there?
Yes,
Yeah.
We're here. We were like, oh, not frozen.
Yeah, it's not Ray of Light yet. We can't be frozen. Who wrote Sooner or Later?
Stephen Sondheim.
Sondheim. That's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I apologize, sir. I apologize.
Now, first of all, we need to talk about her performance of this.
Man.
Where her hand.
First of all, she shows up to the Oscars with Michael Jackson serving Marilyn Monroe on a stick. Like, it was a combination of Marilyn Monroe and James Mansfield all up in the Oscars. She served glamour big time.
And, you know, with the first few albums, I think, you know, everyone was always trying to write off Madonna. I feel like a Prayer was such a critical success. And then on this one, like, with Sooner or Later, like, people saw that she could fucking sing. Like, she sang on this album. This is some of her best vocal performances, in my opinion.
Oh, big time. If not the best.
And as a gay boy, who was 15 when this came out. I wasn't really into show tunes, but I think I got a little gayer after this album came out, for sure.
If you wasn't, you were.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely sang more alone in my bedroom dancing around. Any other thoughts on Sooner or Later?
It's a good song, and her vocals are on point. That performance is iconic. It may not be the best Oscar performance of a song, but she really sold it.
Yeah,
and it was like, and we were in the wartime, so she was like General Schwarzkopf, and I was like, you better work. Oh, she was so good. It's just like you see her, you like we're preteens, we're 13 to 15, 16, and you see that shit, and you're like, and it's just like, and it was just so awesome. Everything she did in this era, from like 89 to 94, 5, was great.
This was
regardless if they burned her at the bridge with erotica. Everything she just served was so gay and so great.
This was the peak of her like cultural fame, right? When you say like mainstream, like,
yes,
this is when she went from like, because I feel like she started as a star, then she was a megastar, then she was a superstar. I think with this era, from like a Prayer through Immaculate Collection, is when she was like, she was truly the queen. Like, there's not even, I feel like a word doesn't even exist to really say like the level that Madonna became here. And to me, she never left that level. Like, we might love or hate some of the later stuff, but she rose, and she's Madonna ever since then for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped that she was, maybe not helped, but brought more attention that she was dating Warren Beatty.
Oh,
and then that white dress, that low-cut sweetheart neckline, and that bobbed, curly, spiraled hair. Like, for me, for fashion, I was like, oh my God, I want to look like that every day. But yeah, I love it. That's a great song. This is like one of my favorite albums ever. So
I'm so glad you joined us, Jocelyn.
Like, every time like Jeremy and I and our other friends, we have to like, we'll be randomly like, what are your top 5 albums that you have to listen to for the rest of your life? Like, this is always one of my favorites.
Cool. Well, after Sooner or Later, of course, was the second single from the album. And I remember hearing it on the radio, and I was like, okay, like, this wasn't gonna change. It wasn't like the emotional powerhouse of like Promise to Try or Oh Father from the last album. But I love, like, she was just fucking having a good time. And I feel like Hanky Panky is as fun as, like, you could tell she was having a good time and just doing her fucking thing. It was awesome in the Blonde Ambition tour. What do y'all think of Hanky Panky?
Love it. I mean, I remember listening to this record for the first time, and it was like, with each song, you're like, ooh, ooh. Like on the first listen, when you like every song, and you're just like, oh, wow, this is great. Because sometimes, even with Madonna, it could be like hit and miss, but like, it's like home run after home run after home run. And I mean, this song I loved. I'm not recalling hearing it on the radio very much in like Orange County, California, which is where I grew up. But I do remember getting the CD single and those remixes not being super great.
Oh, what was it, like the Big Bones or?
Yeah, something.
I got it. Well, you know what? Now that you bring it up, There She Blows.
There it is.
We have the bare bottom 12-inch mix, the bare bone single mix, and it might have not been Madonna's best remix moment.
I love that song, and I remember my friend Michelle's mom thought that it was blasphemous. That she was very upset about just the whole verbiage of the lyrics, but we, as like young girls who are dancing, we loved tapping to it. And fast forward to, oh my gosh, well, what concert was it? Was it Reinvention when she did the song in like the red and blue little outfit?
Yes, it was Reinvention.
Yeah. So one of the merch items were these underwear. So they were like black.
Yeah, they said Hanky
boy
Panky, the little shorts.
Yeah. So to this day, I still have those. And then for Rebel Hearts, oh no, I'm sorry, for Madam X in Miami, my friend and I wore them over our tights. So we still wear them to all the concerts, like over clothing. So yeah, sorry, my tidbits are very personal.
No, I love that.
It's fine. We love it.
And I saw Jocelyn and Michelle in the lobby of Madam X because Jeff X and I.
Yes.
Jeff's usually on the panel here, Jocelyn, but he's in Egypt right now.
Oh, fun.
So he'll be back for erotica.
Yes.
But going back to the 90s, it is very, very funny today. And I would like, next time I see Michelle's mom, I'm going to ask her to listen to the lyrics again, because I think she would laugh and be like, those aren't bad at all. But I remember she was, and it did play on the radio in Cleveland, Jeremy. I remember it.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't play a lot, but it played. And I was so excited when I did hear it. But yes, that was like one of the, it was still, of course, Madonna, controversy. There she goes with Hanky Panky, more controversy. So I love it.
And let's talk about that vocal performance. Like, some boys, they like candy. Like, she sells it.
Oh, her vocals. And oh my God, is that Nikki and Donna on there too?
Yes. Oh my God.
So come on, they deserve some flowers too, because the banter. They both were serving vocals. They were like, I got vocals, you got vocals. I loved it. They sounded so great.
Yeah, this was a fucking magical album. It really was. That's why, like, it's got to be discussed.
Of course.
Any other thoughts on Hanky Panky before we move on? All right. Well, after Hanky Panky, I remember the first time hearing the album because you didn't have samples online. So the first time I heard the songs is when you played the album. So I put in He's a Man. I'm like, yes. I think I might have heard sooner or later, like on MTV, like in an interview. And then, of course, I heard Hanky Panky on the radio. But then when it went into I'm Going Bananas, I saw that on the track list. I'm like, what's a Madonna song called I'm Going Bananas going to sound like? And when I heard it, I'm like, oh, shit, she fucking went there. Like, it's so bad, but so good. It's like,
yes,
so great.
Agreed.
It's Jimmy. It's so bad that it's so good. No, it's fucking loved. Good. It's universally loved, even though it's bad. It's universally loved.
When I was listening to it today, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The first time I heard it was on the Girly Show, and I mean, it mixed well with the other songs, combined together. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was a good performance. The way that she salsa dance with the performance in it.
I still don't know what a belfry is, but I think it's a tower.
It's right? Like a little in the where the bats like hang out in that little like
in a tower of like. Right?
Yeah, like in the little like the space in between the skeleton of it.
Are you sure she wasn't using that as a metaphor for something else?
I don't know.
I'm sure she was. This album is very dirty too. I mean, the Hanky Panky is a very dirty song, even though it's like, you have to use your imagination. But I mean, like, the line, my bottom hurts just thinking about it. And it's like,
Well, I feel like I'm Going Bananas is just a good fucking time. It's just a good time. Sign me up. I still love Madonna, but I feel like she hasn't been that fun in a long time.
If this song came out today with cancel culture being so crazy, would they be like, she's culturally appropriating? Because she's sort of making, it's like, to me, it's an homage, but I mean, people could misconstrue it because everybody's so fucking touchy about shit these days. But I mean, she's definitely making accents where you're like,
that's a cute song, and I don't think she meant it in that way. And
I don't think so either. But I'm just saying, with cancel culture being so
horrible, could you imagine? She would have been canceled by Like a Virgin, and it would have been done in this lifetime. It'd be horrible.
Well, like 100 years from now, like this will be like the song where they're like, "We hate her now."
It's too late, y'all.
I still love it, and I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
I love it too.
All right. Any other thoughts on I'm Going Bananas, ay, before we move on?
Like Eric mentioned, that performance and into La Isla Bonita and then into her flamenco-ness in the Girly Show is everything.
See, I didn't remember I'm Going Bananas on the Girly Show. I knew it was on Blonde Ambition. I'm sure y'all are right, but I just I'm blanking on it. I love the Girly Show. All right, cool. Well, after I'm Going Bananas, the first time I heard the album, then this bass line comes in like doon, 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 and then like doon, 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 and you're like, but I remember the first time hearing this, I'm like, what's the fuck is she gonna do next? Like, it was like just going on an adventure through this album because it really took you some places that from the first album through Like a Prayer, you didn't expect to be going here. Like, this isn't where I expected to be going with Madonna, but I fucking loved it. And I think Crybaby is so stupid and so good. Like, the crying at the end, like, it's ridiculous.
She cries in the Cher voice, by the way.
Yeah, she cries in the Cher voice. I love this song.
Understand that this is a soundtrack to a movie set in the 40s.
Right.
And it was great.
Yeah, it's like a Broadway show.
Exactly. It's so good.
Great theatrical.
And her vocals are great. Like, oh my God. And these are like, so you hear I'm Going Bananas and you see Crybaby, but it shouldn't like shock you because this is where she's supposed to be making this type of music because she is embodying Breathless Mahoney and she would be doing stuff like this. Yeah. So it's like, it's great.
And she wrote all of it with Patrick Leonard, right? Except for the 3 Stephen Sondheim songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that. I just looked it up right now.
Yeah, these were originals. So it's like, can you imagine Madonna just sitting there writing Crybaby? Like,
just all these songs. It's like
laughing her ass off. Oh, I'm gonna put this in there. Yes, it's gonna be so good.
Think she was laughing her ass off in the studio when she was working on it?
Of course.
I would think so because they're very silly and fun.
Yeah.
But so why isn't this one considered an album again? Because it's a soundtrack?
I guess, but I feel like it's more than only 3 songs were actually in the movie, and the rest were original.
Right.
I consider.
What does it say on the cover? And songs inspired by?
Correct.
Music from and inspired by the film Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the inspired songs better than the ones from.
It's all very Broadway and danceable. So from again, going back to just how I was when I was young and growing up dancing, we loved it, my friends and I. We thought all these songs were so tappable and just theatrical.
What would y'all do if Madonna's like, I'm going on tour and I'm just gonna do Breathless from beginning to end? Wouldn't you just die?
I'd be like, can you sing that vocal? If you can, please bring it.
No, it'd be the vocoder version of Crybaby.
I will die. I will throw this Corona bottle at her. I'm like, no, ma'am, please stop. But she barely uses vocoder in her concerts, which is
that's true.
Which is
except for this last tour where every fucking song was.
Yes.
I didn't see it. I'm waiting for the DVD.
Well, keep waiting. It's
been 84 years.
As nerdy as it is, though, I can't wait. Like, sometimes Jocelyn and our friend Oki, like, we'll get together, like, if a new Madonna thing comes out. We met the day Madam X came out and had a lunch and discussed it. So, like, the day Madam X comes out, like, I'm ready to hang out and, like, have a little gathering. And
yes,
I enjoy experiencing music in events with my friends. Like, it's just good to share it. And that's why I love these podcasts. Like, we experience this music separately in our own lives, but it brings us all together. Music brings the people together, like Madonna says. As cheesy as it is.
I've heard that before.
Any other thoughts on Crybaby?
Not my favorite, but I don't skip it.
I was just gonna say that it's not the best, but it's not skippable, which is weird.
Right. It's not the best, but it's definitely not skippable.
No, and you're gonna listen to it, and you won't care, and you'll laugh, and you'll be like, "Oh, girl," and then you wait for what's coming next.
So then, this song, it took a while to grow on me. Something to Remember, and side 1 of the album, but on the CD. It's definitely a torch ballad, and much to my surprise, a few years later became the title track of a compilation that's released of ballads when she was trying to retool her image for Evita. So what a weird random song to get a second life and then become the title of an album. David, it seems like you love this song. What do you think of it?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Those vocals, once again. But once again, I tell you, my bitch, is the queen of emote. She doesn't have, and here she served vocals, but her emotion and the way she emotes the song. That's why it was great when I was like, I didn't hear about Something to Remember came to me as a shock. I was at FSU, I was a freshman, and they had a little, it was a flea market with CDs, and I was like, what is this? OMG. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And that song is great. It's great. Like, that's a song that she can use to say, hey, I used to have a voice. Here, listen to this.
I feel like this is the first, because she used the theme of like actually saying like love yourself, because that kind of was, in secret a couple years later. But this is the first time we really like heard that lyric, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like that. When I heard the song, I pictured Breathless Mahoney and Dick Tracy.
Yes.
Right away. Because, she don't end up with him. So this is like her, like, oh my God, it's like Breathless Mahoney's like, I'm not going to get him. I love him, but he's not going to be mine.
And I feel like the song is aged. There's some Madonna ballads that are kind of skirt under the radar. And this is one of them. I feel like Look of Love is another one. Like they're beautiful ballads. They were never hits, but they're just as good as the ones that were hits, in my opinion. Maybe even better in some cases. Like I love me some Crazy for You, but Something to Remember is just like, it like hits you right here a little bit.
Wasn't it about like, I always think it's about an older, like a mentor, like not like a love song, but to a mentor, not to a lover, right?
Could be. That's a good interpretation.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. But there's
I
definitely
I don't know why I think that, but I feel like when I listen to it, was there a video? Maybe I'm thinking of like the video images.
I don't think there was a video for this one.
No.
I don't know what I'm thinking of, but I'm pulling up the lyrics right now.
I know there's definitely some Cher voice in this one. But you gave me.
See, maybe because so like the lyrics, I was not your woman, I was not your friend, but you gave me something to remember. No other man said love
so
yourself.
Good.
Yeah, this song is so fucking good. Jocelyn, say more of the lyrics. They're giving me life.
I was not your woman, I was not your friend, but you gave me something to remember. No other man said love yourself. Nobody else can. We weren't meant to be, at least not in this lifetime, but you gave me something to remember. I hear you still say love yourself. And then it goes into the next whatever part of the lyrics. I had all my bets laid, all on you. Set your stakes too high, you're bound to lose. In the game of love, I'll pay my dues. Guess I'm waiting for my place in your sun. Wish I had the chance to know you. And it wasn't stormy weather. What a shame. Who's to blame? I kind of feel like for me, it does seem like it was more of like, maybe it's about Warren Beatty.
I know, because he was her lover and her mentor.
Yeah.
Older, so that's Jocelyn. I never thought of that shit, but it has to be about Warren Beatty almost.
That's how I've always thought of it as like maybe someone that she had a crush on, or this character has a crush on. You know what I mean? Like they weren't meant to be. It doesn't even sound to me like they were romantic in the song, intimate, but they had like a mutual love and respect. So I always think of the song as that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yes.
And now we must take a moment to ruminate, because I'm like, shit. All right. So any thoughts on side one or any of the songs that we've covered so far before we flip over the album, or keep the CD going, or flip over your Walkman cassette?
Yes. Oh.
So you flip over the cassette, you hear do 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 do. Side two begins with Back in Business. Madonna definitely serves the vocals on this one. She belts it out. Has she ever sang again the way she sang on this album?
Rescue Me.
Well, okay, yes, Rescue Me. I stand corrected. Besides Rescue Me.
No, that's it. That's it.
My God, she like served. What do y'all think of Back in Business?
Love it.
Love it too. I was like, oh my God, like half an hour before the show started, I'm here like texting y'all. I'm back in business.
Jocelyn, I know you tap danced to Back in Business, right?
Of course. Yes, for sure. I'm looking at the lyrics right now. Yeah, this is a guy that's full of himself.
Warren Beatty.
Yep.
Probably.
Carly Simon already covered that one.
Maybe,
right? It might have been somebody else. Yeah, I've just felt like the first time I heard this album was like the gift that kept on giving.
Yeah. This song was definitely one that I repeated over and over and over again when I got that CD. I loved it. And I especially love the ending of it.
Aw. Yeah, I just loved, like, this album was a gift that kept on giving. Every song that played, I loved it. All right. The next song was actually from the Dick Tracy movie, and it was definitely a show tune. Madonna definitely served, and it was called More.
Yes.
Who wants to take on this one? Jocelyn, what do you think of More?
Oh my God. It is just so fun. I always still quote it all the time. Got my diamonds, got my yacht, got a man I adore. Love it. It's just so, everyone wants more.
This is definitely a belter.
Because it's so her too, because it's almost like American Life. Like, are you ever satisfied? Whatever that lyric is.
Right. What if she did a More American Life medley? That'd be some shit.
I'm sure there's one on SoundCloud we can find.
Yeah. Just the way she sings it, like she really does tackle it as a Broadway song, and pulls it off. Like not only does she tackle it, but she pulls it off. It's kind of hard for me to have a discussion about this album because I just love everything about it. Like there's no drama, there's no dispute. Like it's just good, kind of naughty fun, and that's my wheelhouse right there.
It was great. The album's great because it just represents the movie so well. And the movie was a hit. It was a hit. It had all these stars in it. I was like, look at Madonna with all these legends. It was good. It was a really good movie.
All right. Well, moving on. There was another ballad. I can't see mine. I'm old. Okay. We're back to another ballad featuring Mandy. How do you say his name? Mandy Patinkin. Who I loved in Dead Like Me, by the way. Any fans of that TV show?
Oh, that was a good show.
That was a good show. And, he was one of the stars in the show. And the whole time I'm like, that's the guy that's saying, what can you lose with Madonna? Like, even if someone sings like one note on a Madonna album, the whole rest of their career is defined by that for me.
So, he's super talented. I mean, he's like been on Broadway, and I've seen him on Broadway. He can sing, he can act. He's great.
Aww.
But ironically, I don't like the song at all.
Really? How come?
I don't like it at all. I don't know. It's so sad. And it's like really slow, and it's just and it's too close after Something to Remember. I feel like it could have been one or the other. I didn't need both. I feel like it slows the album down. That's the one low point for me.
I think it's pretty. I like it because it's not too long. I feel it's like 2 minutes long. So I don't think I'd want like the 6-minute version of What Can You Lose, but this was another one from the movie, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. Anyone else want to jump in about this before we get a little the tap back? Yeah. So when I saw the track list, I'm like, it's not too often you see a part 1 and a part 2 of a song on an album, and that always piques my curiosity because I'm like, what have we got here? So we have Madonna doing a saucy little show tuney number with Warren Beatty that then scrambles up into a 90s, like every sonic trick that was around in 1990 was part of Now I'm Following You Part 2. And if you ask me, the whole fucking thing works. I love it from beginning to end. It's ridiculous. It's like,
I mean, when this song came out, or when I heard it for the first time, I loved part 1, and then when part 2 was on, I was like, no fucking way! Like, this is really cool. I was really into it. It's so weird. I like listening to this. I remember like reactions. It's like an album that really stuck with me.
yeah.
Because it was so rare in those days to just every track on an album so much, like on the first listen, where you're like, oh wow, this is like great.
And the lines that she didn't finish in Hanky Panky, she does the full line in this song, where she's like, "Dick, that's an interesting name." Like she gives it, and now I'm following you. Madonna gives it her all.
Yes.
I'll say.
I don't know if it's out there on YouTube or whatever, but apparently this was planned as a single, and there's like a Shep Pettibone remix of part 1 and part 2.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah, my friend bought a white label acetate or something like that. So I don't know. He said that it's not great, but I don't know if it's out there or not. And if it is, I want to hear it.
I did love the live performance on Blonde Ambition.
Yes.
Of course. I think Warren Beatty did a respectable job. He was all right. Yeah, I put this kind of in the same category as like Bat Dance for some reason by Prince.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like very dated. They used every trick in the book from like 89, 90, but I still fucking love it. Like,
but I mean, at that time, it was like there was nothing else. That was a new sound. It was great, you know. Now it sounds cheesy, but it sounds cheesy because everyone emulated that because that was the shit.
I feel like Paula Abdul studied Now I'm Following You Part 2, and that became Spellbound.
Which on Sunday, Rush turned 30.
Oh no!
I did love that song.
The beginning of her being stretched in videos.
I know.
Oh yes.
Shit,
Yeah, the song on the song
is so sexy in that video.
And the song "You," which Prince wrote, which that album came out in 1990. It turns out that track, the original version of it, is from 1978.
Oh damn.
Because he wrote it for that band, the Rebels, or 1979. So it's been like sitting out there for like 11 years, like undiscovered until somehow Paula Abdul ended up with it. It's so weird.
Who's your song gonna end up with in 10 years from now? Fucking Paula Abdul.
No.
All right, any thoughts on Now I'm Following You Part 1 and 2?
I love it. It actually might be my favorite thing on the whole record.
Yeah, the tapping is like really easy to follow on that one. Da-da-da, da-da. I like the transition to the second song. It's just good. One of my favorites.
Jocelyn, I should have prepared you because I feel like you would have done a tap dance routine for us.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Like if it was on right now, like my friends and I can do that whole tap dance. It's just that's a good one. Sometimes I'll just put that on, and like on SoundCloud, if you type in Now I'm Following You, they have like more, kind of like techno versions of it too, which are really cool.
All right. Then we get to the last song on the album, which of course was the single. And I remember like I knew Vogue before the album came out. I'm like, how the hell is this going to fit on here? But you know what? Like every other fucking ridiculous thing on the album, Vogue for me works at the end. Like it works. You have the past, and then you get into what was the present at the time. We already kind of heard this sound from her with the Express Yourself single remix, but I feel like she kind of took it to the next level with Vogue.
Well, isn't this the only official album that Vogue is on?
Yep.
Isn't that a trivia question?
This is definitely where it originated. And it originally was supposed to be the B-side to keep it together. And it was going to be the B-side on the CD single, but the record company felt it was so good that they not only did they make it the A-side of the single, but they built a whole album around it.
It sounds nothing like the song.
Yeah. How do you all feel about Vogue?
Really good. I just remember when I was a kid watching it, the MTV Awards, and I remember my mom, she was really religious, and she told me not to look at stuff like that. But when your parents tell you not to look at stuff, you want to watch it. So I said, I want to know who this woman is. So
Right.
That was a magnificent
Yeah.
performance with the what was it, like the Victorian
yes,
costume?
with the cross set with her boobs.
Love it.
I remember watching that live too. I was
Me
thinking of it
too.
Marie Antoinette version.
Maria, yeah, and then like didn't like one of the dancers go up under her skirt, and I remember
Yeah.
that was controversy.
And her cleavage was definitely on point.
Yeah,
Always.
that was like I think that's probably one of like the all-time best MTV performances like ever.
And the fans. Whoosh.
Oh, I know.
With the sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
The fanography.
Now, was that performance before or after the Blonde Ambition tour?
After.
Okay, so that's kind of like the last time she utilized those dancers, right? Kind of. Or
Yeah.
Totally. That was the last hurrah of the Blonde Ambition dancers until, of course, they came back many years later in the documentary Strike a Pose.
And then the fans come back in Rebel Heart, right?
Oh, yeah.
During We Go Hard or We Go Home, right? The bitch, I'm Madonna. She does the
Yeah.
fans in that one. Right? Am I crazy?
Oh, yes, you're right.
Okay.
And it was so good in that Rebel Heart. Oh, she did
Yeah.
so good.
But I think that there was like, I think that's cool that she circles everything back around. But that Vogue was the inspiration, and I love it.
So we have a couple more things to touch on. Did you all love the Blonde Ambition tour? Like, we got to talk about the Blonde Ambition tour. I remember watching it on HBO. I remember wondering why the ponytail was gone, because the ponytail was around for the first half of the tour. Then she had the curls. Let's take a vote. I want to know, did you all like the ponytail or the curls better?
The ponytail.
The curls.
I like both.
Pony.
I felt like the pony was an afterthought for a minute. It looked cute at the beginning, but then it was just like raggedy.
Oh, that's probably why she stopped it. She was probably like,
No wonder she had to put those curls out. She was like, no, ma'am. It was cute for a minute, but after a while, it was like,
Well, it made her hair.
it was-
I think what happened is like it pulled all of her hair out.
Right.
probably.
Did you see when they were like pulling it back? Like her hair was like this long. Like there was no hair to even hold it anymore, I think.
And her forehead was going like stretching.
Yeah.
But her eyebrows were on point. The girl who was doing her makeup.
I did love that weird orange and black, yellow striped jumpsuit thing.
Oh, for causing a commotion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like, going back, she did tours that were a lot more elaborate, more expensive. But there's just something about the Blonde Ambition tour that just really holds up for me.
Well, did you watch the documentary? Like not the documentary, but like it was the talk leading up to the documentary where they said they have no one has any idea where any of that footage is.
I didn't know that. I didn't see the talk. It's all
Yeah.
missing?
All missing. No one knows where it is. So people keep asking for like a true proper like DVD, but there's like the footage doesn't exist anymore. Like no one, like Alec Kishishian, like who is the director, like no one knows where it is. No one.
I think Donna and Nikki took it.
Probably.
The nerve.
All right, then next we need to talk about Truth or Dare. That came out. I went to the movie theater in my hometown 4 or 5 times with my friends, and each time, the last time we went, I know it was at least 4. It was just us in the movie theater. We were singing in the aisles and dance. Because I'm from the shitty small town that was homophobic as fuck, but we got Madonna in our movie theater with 2 guys making out, and I think it really saved my life. Because I got called a fag between every fucking class, and I didn't even know I was gay yet. But then to go to the movie theater and see these dudes making out, it was really like you saw the escape route to a better life through Madonna being in the movie theater. So Truth or Dare was I know now, with cancel culture a little bit, I know that there's a huge thread on Reddit talking about how terrible Madonna is. I don't give a fuck. I don't think I'd be here as strong of a person and have the life I would have had if it wasn't for Truth or Dare. So I've talked a lot. Someone else take it over. How did Truth or Dare affect anyone else's life?
I loved it. I mean, I can totally see why people think she's a bitch from that thing. Because I mean, you know, that's how it was at the time, and you know, she was on top of the world. So I mean, that's how the person on top of the world acts, I guess. You know, I think it's actually kind of interesting to like, you know, look back on it. She was on top of the world. She was everything. I mean, and then causing so much commotion with like the controversy with, is her show going to get canceled? Is she going to get arrested? Because, you know, she was really like fighting censorship, which, you know, leading up to what we'll talk about in a second, which is Immaculate Collection. I did a report on censorship was a freshman in high school, and the Madonna Justify My Love video had come out, and they wouldn't show it on MTV, so they released it as a video single. Yeah. So I bought the video single, and in my censorship class, I was going to show the video to show the class like what is so controversial that it got censored off of MTV. So my English teacher was like, you have to run it by the principal. So I gave I made an appointment with the principal, and I brought the videotape to her, and I told her what I was going to do. She took it home, watched it, said, yeah, you can't show that in class. And so I got censored as well on a report about censorship. And so I always respected Madonna for just like breaking boundaries and not giving a fuck and just like doing shit like that.
You know what's interesting is I feel like the icons of that time, like Michael when he was huge, Prince when he was huge, and Madonna, I feel like no one ever reached that stratosphere again. You know, people sold a lot of albums, but I feel like the cultural reach of like these megastars, it was cross-generational. It wasn't just the kids. Like my mom listened to Madonna. My younger sibling, like my people younger than me, it was music reached every age and every demographic back then.
But like my brother didn't like her, and he fucking hated her. I mean, like he hated her with a passion. So there was a lot of people that really didn't like her as well.
But they knew her though. Like I think
everybody knew her. Everybody knew her for sure.
I don't know if everybody knows who Taylor Swift is. Like everyone knew who Madonna was.
Right.
Like I feel like people knew who Madonna was, whether they liked music.
She was in the headlines like all the time during this period. Like she was dating Warren Beatty, and then her movie was coming out, and then Dick Tracy was coming out, and the Oscars, and that looks all the MTV awards. I mean, Blonde Ambition tour. She was like everywhere and all over the place.
I just feel like top 40 music had a deeper infiltration into culture than it does now.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Jeffrey, but it's so funny to watch Justify My Love video today because it's really not controversial whatsoever.
They end up playing erotica, which was worse.
Right. But
I was like 2 years later, I'm like, they still haven't even played it. They really have not.
No.
Didn't they play like one weekend and they advertised that they were gonna like play it I thought like at like years later they like played it for like one weekend and advertised for it or something like that, and then like it went away again.
Yeah, my dad, the day that the Justify My Love video came out on VHS, my father brought it home for me. And so then, of course, all my girlfriends come over because, you know, my house is the bad house where you can do whatever you want.
Mine was too.
Was it?
Everyone said I worshiped Satan because I dyed my hair black. So people's parents wouldn't let their kids to my house because I was satanic.
Well, yeah, mine was the bad good house. You just knew you could, you know, watch banned Madonna videos over at my place. But then where did the sex book fall in with all of this? Because then that was another layer of controversy in this whole era as well.
That was like the beginning of the erotica era.
Okay, so that was after this Justify My Love then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like because the video today is like nothing at all dramatic.
I just rewatched the video with my roommate and his girlfriend last weekend, and I feel like it's really held up, and I feel like it's sexy. Like it's still
very sexy. God, she looks like she just got fucked by like the hottest guy on the planet, which is Tony Ward. At the time he was the hottest guy on the planet. So I mean, that video is just like your TV smokes a cigarette after that video is over.
The thing is, though, a lot of the gender neutral imagery and stuff, no one was bringing that even into anywhere in the top 40. So, I mean, I guess you had David Bowie doing but Madonna just brought a different element of it into the mainstream, I feel like.
The Pet Shop Boys did the Domino Dancing video, and there's a homoerotic. They're like chasing after this girl, and like somehow like there's like a big beach ball that comes, and they both like reach for it, and they topple over, and it's like very like they're together, and that totally ruined Pet Shop Boys' career. So Madonna was able to get away with it a little. Well, not really. They banned it, but I mean, you know, she was definitely like saying, "I don't give a fuck, and I'm going to put this in there."
Yeah, but the Pet Shop Boys got banned, and Madonna got on Nightline.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which is, that interview was just trending a few weeks ago because
It's always trending.
she was
Always.
a boss.
Like
She was
some new
boss.
person ends up finding it, and they're like, "This is Madonna," because all they see her as this older woman who hates Gaga. That's all they see her as. And then when they play these interviews, they're like, "Really?" I go, "Yes, bitch, really. You know, we have gay rights because of her. Please stop."
I mean, if anyone ever like walked the walk, it was fucking Madonna.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I like that she still brings that into her concerts, like with, okay, what show am I thinking? The black and white Vogue, was it MDNA?
Yeah.
When they all come down and they're all in black and white. And I'm like, who's a boy, who's a girl? Because they all have those like 5-inch Pradas on, and you really can't tell who's who as far as her dancers go. And then go back to, what was it, Rebel Heart, when she does Sex and they're like on the beds, you know, and there's girls on girls, boys on boys, girls on, you know what I mean? And you can't tell, like I like that there is, you know, kind of like this sexual overtone where you have to like really look and see like, wait, who's who in this? So I feel like she's really carried on that whole Justify My Love like imagery into the concerts, you know, 20 years later, which I love.
And sometimes I feel her tour interlude videos are better than her like commercially released videos sometimes.
Yeah. But I always like that, like, I don't want to say that she repeats herself, but she repeats it in a different way. So I always take it as like she is going back and you know, saying like, I've already said this, but I'm saying it again, and like, you know, in your face, like I'm still relevant today, and what I was saying then and Justify My Love still stands strong today. So, you know, just with like the imagery and that, you know, I think it's kind of fun to like this whole androgyny thing.
So yeah, after you know, so then we had Breathless. Vogue was a huge hit. We had the Blonde Ambition tour. We had Truth or Dare. So we had a lot of huge moments for Madonna. And then I believe it was as 91 came to a close, once again with my cousin Josh in study hall, he's like, "Oh, the Madonna's really slutty on this new song she has out." Like he was like this straight like metalhead that loved Whitesnake, and he always knew about the fucking new Madonna songs before I did. "Oh, she's really slutty on this new song." So I found out that there's this new song called "Justify My Love" out. Oh, she's talking about how she's open and ready in it. The first time I heard it was on the radio. When, do you remember at that time how futuristic that's like? Nothing sounded like that shit. Like the way she was talking, everything about "Justify My Love." That is a sexy motherfucking song.
Well,
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, he wrote it.
Yeah.
Right. Ingrid Chavez.
With Ingrid Chavez.
Yes, please don't forget. She fought very hard for that credit.
Yeah,
She fought very hard for that credit, and she got it. And
She deserved it.
Tell me
And
this story. I want to hear about that.
so the song was credited to Lenny Kravitz, basically, and
Madonna, right?
Yeah, and it was basically like based on a poem that she had written or something like that, and they basically told her like, we'll take the song and you're not getting any credit, and like tough. And so she kind of was like, well, I need the exposure, so like I'll do it this way, at least like people will know. And then she realized like, fuck that, I'm not, like, that's bullshit, like I should get credit for it. And so she sued, and they basically had to reprint the CD with the correct songwriting credits. So like the original ones that came out don't have her name on it, and then the ones that came out after like have it.
Let's
I'm
see
gonna
which
have to
one
go look at
Jeremy
my
has.
stuff.
Yeah, so
Lenny
Yeah.
Kravitz, additional lyrics by Madonna on my CD. So
yeah,
there
so you got
have
it.
folks.
You got it before the lawsuit. And then she recently, I think it might have been 2020. Yeah, I think it was 2020. Ingrid Chavez like recorded it recently, her like version of Justify My Love. So now like she's, paying homage. So you can now hear her version, but it was recorded recently, not the original.
Is that right up there with Donna and Nikki's version of Rain?
It's actually not bad. I mean, it's like if you don't go and YouTube it, you're not gonna, like miss out on something amazing, but it's definitely, good. And I mean, she definitely works it, and I mean, I love Ingrid Chavez.
Did she do it? Was it a Public Enemy sample, the drum loop?
Yes.
And then Lenny Kravitz. There's an isolated vocal track of just Lenny Kravitz's like background vocals, which is
There is?
yeah, it's badass. Yep.
Oh my God, will you send that to me?
Yeah. And you know what?
Holy shit.
I forgot to say I did make a Phonogenics Facebook group where I'm gonna after every episode I'm gonna make a thread where everyone can drop like the extra things that other people should watch. So I'll invite everybody to that because I think there's so many other things to show people that we talk about during the discussions that I'll get that going. I had a crazy fucking week.
There's an interview from the past recent 2 years where Madonna, I'm sure you guys have heard it, where she talks about being in the recording studio, remembering what she was wearing, and kind of alluded to maybe her and Lenny were messing around almost.
Oh.
Yeah. That she remembers it like very, very specifically exactly what she was wearing. And did you guys hear it? I think it's on SoundCloud too. Oh yeah, I can find it and send it because that's a good one too.
If she wasn't messing around with Lenny Kravitz during the song, it was a missed opportunity because this song is like sex. I mean, it is like, it's just such a sexy song.
Yeah, and the video is just as sexy as the
Yeah, I mean, she was on fire. She looked amazing. She sounded great. Like, she was really like on fire in this phase.
Have you ever been to that hotel in New York where they filmed this?
Is it the Hotel Chelsea?
I think so. Isn't it?
I would love to know, actually. But if it is the Hotel Chelsea, I
thought it was filmed in Paris and at the Ritz Hotel.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Paris too.
Yeah, it was Paris, the Ritz Hotel.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think I have been in the Ritz Hotel in Paris. I've been to Paris,
yeah,
but not.
It was filmed in Paris. I'm an idiot. By John Baptiste Mondino.
Yeah.
I'm Facebook friends with Tony Ward.
Nice.
He's still good looking.
Does he have
I know
an
he is.
OnlyFans? Because I would definitely subscribe.
He doesn't really post all that much. He used to post more, but he doesn't really post all that much anymore.
He still look good though.
Yeah, he does.
You could just tell he was dirty. Like he was a dirty boy.
Oh yeah, he did like. I mean, I think he was truly bisexual because he did like men, women stuff.
I was gonna say, I think he got with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to get with Jeremy Gloff to just.
I went to an exhibit and in fact, in that little chat, I could drop pictures of that. I went to a Tony Ward art exhibit in Los Angeles one time when I was out here when I was living in New York and I came out here on a trip. And it was an entire art gallery filled with like different homages to Tony Ward. And it was like, some were like video installations of like scenes with him, and other things were like paintings and photographs manipulated. It was really cool.
So he was a muse to many people, right?
Yes. And so many of those, he was so fucking hot.
He was in the sex book too, right? He carried over to the erotica era, didn't he?
Yes.
God. Oh, he was hot. Okay. So Immaculate Collection was Madonna's greatest hits compilation. I remember when it came out. I feel like it's always dangerous for artists to release greatest hits because a lot of times that kind of like seals off their career. And it really was a big turning point for Madonna. It did end this kind of imperial phase of her career. It had 2 new songs on the album. We already talked about Justify My Love. It had the Q sound mix, which never made any difference to me. It
was more crisp. It was more crisp.
There was a CD that was an import called the Holiday Collection that had a couple songs that wasn't on the CD, and then there was also the Royal Box that had the VHS and the CD. So there's a lot of cool stuff that came out. What did you all think of R-E-S-C-U-E-Me? Only you can rescue me.
I love it. I just listened to, again, I keep referencing SoundCloud, but one of my favorite apps, and there is an amazing like dance mix, which I can find and post as well. I love that song.
Me too.
Great.
I just wish there was a music video to go with it.
Oh my God.
I didn't care for the remixes
One
of.
of many times Warner Brothers has fumbled the bag.
This is a major one, though. This is a
major fumble because right after Justify My Love hit #1, radio took to this song big time. And they waited 4 months to release the single. 4 months. It went gold because we wanted it, but there was no radio support by the time it had been released as a single officially. So it peaked at #9, but still went gold.
I did like some of the remixes.
I liked the Justify My Love remixes, and we forgot to talk about those, and those are fucking awesome. Yep, especially the hip hop mix is great.
You know how to whistle. Just put your lips together and blow. And then at the end, isn't she like, fuck me?
Yes. Which at the time I had a Macintosh computer, and you could sample a sound and assign it to like whatever. So like whenever I got an error message, I had to go, fuck me.
And we had to, for historical value, wasn't this the first time William Orbit showed up and the Justify My Love remix single?
Yes. And that remix is fucking great when she's like, you can fuck with me.
Yeah. I loved every fucking remix because you had the William Orbit, the hip hop, and then I feel like the Beast Within is almost like a legend in itself.
Yes.
Oh, that scared me on the Like a Prayer album. Oh my God. When I was little.
Oh, the Act of Contrition?
Is that what yeah, that one. That's scary.
This is like a cousin to that song. It's like very weird and very dark. I mean, even though it's like she's either reading from the Bible or reading from like the satanic witch's book.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like there's another remix, but there's not. There's like an Express Yourself remix on the CD single.
Correct. Right? The 1990 remix, which was really good.
So that's what
that was the chef's expressing himself, wasn't it?
Yes. And I feel like, there were some CD single. I always bought the 12 inches up through Like a Prayer. And Keep It Together was like when it kind of became CD single instead of 12-inch for me. But this is maybe controversial, but I never really loved the Vogue remixes. I thought they were kind of I didn't love them.
I liked the extended version. And then like the house mix or something was like not great.
It just didn't take it anywhere that the original song didn't take me already.
Right.
But the fucking Justify My Love single with those collagen lips and every remix was fucking so good. That's when the Madonna remix single came to life for me.
Yes. Yeah, because her remixes at the beginning were like not great. I mean, some of the extended versions were okay, but like cool. You could live without them. Now it was like her remixes started like going off the chain. Like the erotica remixes are good, and
oh my God,
so on and so on. The Ray of Light remixes are like that whole album was like just insane.
Do you know what era I felt like had great remixes was American Life. There was some like electro shit that was so good.
Oh yeah, there was at least 7 top 10 hits on the dance charts from American Life. I love my remixes from Bedtime Stories.
That album
made magic.
We're gonna have to set aside a couple hours for Bedtime Stories because I have a lot to say.
So do I.
I'm gonna start crying. By the way,
yep.
Like, that was such a pivotal time of life, like 1994. But we still have 2, and I fucking love erotica. I love them all. I even love Mad Max. So Immaculate Collection. One of the 10 million albums. So isn't it like a diamond, certified diamond?
It's certified diamond. It's actually at 13 or 14 million right now. And that's only in the US.
The photo session's cute with the little
biggest, greatest hits package. Greatest hits album of all time.
It can't be because the Eagles, I think, was like the Eagles' greatest hits was like one of the #1 albums of all time.
Okay, but it's up there.
And then it keeps getting, you know, like
then.
it keeps like knocking off Thriller, and then they keep going back and forth. Remember?
Well, for a female.
Okay.
And the thing about Madonna's career, and this is something everybody knows, but I'm just gonna say it out loud for posterity. Is that the word? Madonna had some huge hits that wasn't on her 18-track greatest hits. Had some hits that were left off. There's no
a lot of hits, but I mean, they obviously they maxed the CD out in time length, so that they probably didn't want to make it a double CD,
right? But
and then they didn't want to put those tracks on the CD single because that already took up enough space. So, you know,
it just shows what a powerhouse she was. There's no Dress You Up. There's no Who's That Girl, no Causing a Commotion.
Was That Girl's a #1 song? How dare she?
They probably couldn't get the rights because most movies that are from soundtracks are like, they got Crazy for You, so I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, they did some right.
Yeah, because it's all on Sire Records. How'd you all feel that she put the single mix of Like a Prayer on Immaculate Collection?
That was great.
I liked it. I liked that all like a lot of these versions were different.
I feel like she used a lot of like single edits from You Can Dance, because like that original version of Into the Groove, no one even thinks of that anymore. It's the You Can Dance and then the Immaculate Collection remix that's kind of iconic now with the piano solo. Yeah, Immaculate Collection is fucking immaculate. I just think it's the 2 new tracks. And didn't you all feel like after her Imperial phased, didn't you all feel like where's she gonna go from here?
I didn't think about it. I just was excited to see.
She had a movie coming out called The League of Their Own. That's all I knew.
It definitely felt like the end of an era. And she followed her Imperial phase with This Used to Be My Playground, was the beginning of the next era of Madonna, which I love that song.
Me too.
Great song. So forgotten.
I like it. It's depressing as fuck, though.
It's even more sad now. And that's in the video where she started to look a little bit older to me. Like,
Yeah, I feel sad about it too for some reason.
it's a beautiful song and beautiful video, though.
Well, and the movie's a little bit sad too, but
She was
sad.
great.
All the way May.
When she's teaching that poor girl to read, I was like, yes.
Yes.
When I was living in Chicago, right when COVID hit, me and my friend were walking around our neighborhood, and because everything was closed, this playground that was like a block from our house was closed. And he goes, "Jeffrey, this used to be my playground."
All right. Well, some people think of Breathless as a throwaway, but we talked about it for about an hour and a half. So, it meant something to. I'm going to take it meant a lot. It meant a lot to a lot of people, I think.
We have to rank it.
Yeah. So, okay. At the end of every Phonogenics episode, we always go around the circle and rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being masterpiece, 1 being garbage. So I'm going to go through the order that I see everybody. David.
9.
Eric.
I give it a 9 also. I thought it was pretty good. I love the cover art with the M on it.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite logo.
All right, Jeffrey.
I'm also giving it a 9.
Jocelyn.
Of course, I give everything a 10 of Madonna. I'm so biased. Jeremy always, I think, gets mad at me because I just think she's perfect and she can do no wrong. And
I love her so much. Thank you for bringing her.
I should have never introduced you two because Jocelyn, you know how I get all philosophical. I'm like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
David just like, girl, shut the fuck up.
I just think she's perfect. And this is one of my favorite albums. And I probably have like at least 3 or 4 copies of it because every time I see it somewhere, I buy it. And
All good times.
yeah. And it just brings back like, teenage memories. And so, yes, definitely a 10.
And you know what? I'm going to give it a fucking 10. I think every song it's awesome from beginning to end. I never skip a song. I wouldn't take off anything except maybe my pants.
I'm going to listen to it now. Yes, take off your pants.
All right. So I'm going to invite everybody into the Facebook group after this, the Facebook group, so we can drop our extra
Knowledge, like it's
extra
hot.
knowledge in there. And thank you all for spending a couple hours talking about Madonna. I look forward to these so much. I just think, Jocelyn, will you please join us for the rest of them?
If you invite me again, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the link to all of them. And I don't know why I didn't already, so I apologize. You know I'm an airhead sometimes. But yeah, this is the Madonna crew. We're going to be talking about erotica next month. With
Right.
Body of evidence.
Body of Evidence, Rebecca
Oh my
Carlson.
God.
Oh, send me the link so I can watch it. I think that I have that on DVD, so I can watch it before.
Have you ever seen animals make love, Frank? It's
Yes.
All right, well, I love y'all. I'm going to pause it so we can still chat for a minute. But make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join the MySpace group. Facebook.
MySpace.
MySpace is gone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start.
Goes your brain, clearly.
I'm not even going to edit this out because I don't give a fuck. Okay. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join the Facebook group. And subscribe to my Patreon. I love y'all. I'll see you next month when you put your hands all over our body.